Haslae. Haslae. I'm Susan Muratha. I'm vying Nairobi Women Representative. Na alama ni wheelbarrow. Tunaambiangwa Nairobi kona wenyewe, lakini raundi hii tukiwa na hasla, tutawakanyaga, hatupangui ngui.
Masla hoye. Masla hoye. Kangara GN from Atlanta chapter. I'm vying for MCA Ngewa Ward.
Thank you, thank you. Now, Wanja, you can start preparing the document there. And before Wanja comes in, just Jason, because of interest time, we were supposed to do the whole thing, but because of interest time, Jason, we're going to do the summary of the document. Yeah?
Thank you so much, Bwana Coordinator. David. Yeah? I'd like to thank you, Your Excellency, for allowing us this opportunity as diaspora to be here and to perhaps make a presentation, particularly of a policy roadmap. We're calling it a roadmap because it's a work under progress, but there is a lot of input, Your Excellency, that has gone into it. Just as a preamble, and I will take very few minutes to then run through it, this document has been put together by all the 7 regional chapters. I was, together with the technical team, responsible for coordinating simply the engagements and the input that were made, and we compiled them into a policy roadmap, and that, therefore, is what we are going to present. I'd like to acknowledge my colleague who was very instrumental alongside myself, Dr. Martin Koyabe, who is not with us. Dr. Martin, he's not been able to travel, but he's one of the members of the technical team with whom we were pulling the document together. And so I have to underscore, Your Excellency, that the document itself, as much as we received so much engagement from everybody, it was put together by a technical team, and by that I mean that the people who are well-versed in issues, particularly of diaspora, migration, economics, and so forth and so on, issues of health, and therefore it captures all these issues. I'll go straight into then the issues that were presented. Firstly, it's to set the context, so to speak, and to give a very brief overview of Kenyan diaspora today, and in just 1 minute to explain that. Firstly, Your Excellency, we have estimated 3 million Kenyans in the diaspora, and we know that at the moment, looking at the data that we've analyzed within the last 10 years, there has been a surge of Kenyans moving into the diaspora. Migrations of Kenyans abroad was over 500,000 in 2020 alone. And therefore, that just underscores the importance of the diaspora for this particular enterprise of the UDA. I'll skip on the potential and just go straight to the issues that we collected. So what we did, the engagements with all the chapter heads, Your Excellency, we collected and we summarized them, we thematized them, and we didn't just identify the challenges that these chapters face, but we also, together with all the various chapters, proposed solutions to them. I'm going to skip the details of that. We will make sure that you have a copy of the document, but just the summary of it is we've got 7 key points that I'd like to identify. And first is that we are very excited about the possibility of the incoming administration to establish a diaspora ministry. And part of it is really because of the issues that we are grappling with. So that's the first key consideration that comes out of all the engagements. The second consideration, Your Excellency, is the need to establish a framework for inclusion into the governance and political processes. Diaspora need to be represented in the incoming administration in both lower and upper houses. We would like to see a change from the current administration or the previous administrations that have really considered diasporas as lone rangers out there. We would like the diaspora to participate in governance in the new administration. The third key consideration is there was a very strong sentiment emerging out of all the chapters that we need to set up a tax rebate, financial incentives, and investment channels for Kenyans in the diaspora. And that was cross-cutting. The fourth was the need to conduct a comprehensive review and restructuring of all Kenyan embassies. And I think that was also a very, very strong point that came out across all the 7 regions. One of the two, there are 2 issues keenly that dominate that particular key consideration. And the one was that there are consulates or embassies, Your Excellency, that are located usually in your capital centers. And Kenyans have to travel very far for them to just go and get a document like your ID, passport and so forth and so on. So that was one of the issues. And the second one, and the Gulf region in particular, sort of presented this particular issue very strongly, was the issue of Kenyans being left and abandoned to really hustle for themselves out there. There is no coordinating mechanisms. And we feel very jealous to see other governments that really intervene to try and and so on. That is an issue that we do suggest. The 5th key consideration my coordinator has issues with my height, Your Excellency. And here, so I'm visible. So the 5th key consideration is to establish a robust framework for diaspora welfare and returnees, an integration mechanism that allows Kenyans when they come back so that there is a smooth transition as they settle in. But it's also true that Kenyans struggle to integrate when they move to other countries. The Gulf region did present that issue, particularly because of the cultural context. And that was suggested that we need to be looking at that. And then number 6, it's the need to establish a framework to engage the diaspora on skilled workforce. There is a lot of resources out there, and I know that the team that was putting together this particular document, Dr. Martin Koyabe in particular, he's he got awarded one of the he's one of the 5 top or leading projects that is funded by the EU, and that's a resource that we could make use of locally here. Myself, also to mention that I'm a development economist, helped a lot with the South African government.
Sorry for the interruption. We are live on this, so you can put on your platforms on the UDA official page, and it's also shared on His Excellency's page and all our other relevant pages, including Ruto Mashinani. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So as a development economist myself, I have helped the South African government, particularly within the informal economy, and the technical team themselves. There's just so much resource, just within a small sample. The point being made here is that there is a lot of resource that we can tap to help develop our beloved country, and we are very keen to offer our services in that regard. And then number 7, the last key consideration, is the need to establish a diaspora county engagement framework so that ourselves as diaspora, we are not engaging just the national government, but there is a direct link to counties where we come from. And in that way, we also put back our resources into the counties, because the whole bottom-up approach is really about that, us integrating and making sure that we are helping where it matters most. So those are the key 7 considerations. Overall, what we are saying is that the incoming administration should consider sort of restructuring all of the relations with diaspora so that there is fitness for 21st century interaction. And that really is, in times of technology, that is very possible. I want to move on to my second last slide, which is on scope and work plan. What we do suggest, because this particular document, as I've indicated, is a working document, and it's come this far. It's in quite good shape, but it has still got some way to go. What the technical team and the chapter chair suggested is the need to establish, Your Excellency, a UDA Kenya Diaspora Policy Task Force. And this, we would request that with your office, you would help sort of guide us on establishing a team that would now develop this into a full-fledged policy. And of course, with the terms of reference and governance on how this process is going to unfold. What we do suggest is that, and it was agreed that there's a roadmap that we can easily complete a policy document that is fit for the administration in the next 3-4 months. But the first step, perhaps, Your Excellency, would be on your side to give that guideline for us to have a task force that is dedicated to development of the task force. And then, of course, the last step so it's the establishment of the task force or a task team. And then secondly, outlining the terms of reference for the task team. And then thirdly, inception of the outlined tasks. That will be now moving forward to do implementation. So overall, Your Excellency, we would like to say thank you so much for the opportunity, and we look forward to working with your administration. We are fully behind you and gunning for you in South Africa, in New England, in UK. So UDA is well represented there. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
I don't think he has a problem with my height, right? All right, we have come almost to the end of the program, but the highlight of the whole thing is to hand over our document to His Excellency. But before I do that, there's one thing that came after thought. We would also like to be included in the judiciary. We have been conned and conned and conned, right? When we have a case going on, it goes on for 8 months. It comes to a point you either lose your job because you can't attend a case or lose the property, right? So we want a special consideration, speedy trial of diaspora cases. Having said that, it's my pleasure now to invite our patron to hand over the document. Karibu.
Thank you so much, the chairman. I think we are going to call the chairmen of 7 chapter to come here so they can be able to present the document. Can they come very fast? The 7 chairmen to come here quickly so that we can be able to give our... Yes, come here down. I think this is the highest time now to our candidates, our President 2022, so that we can present the document. And also would ask our chairman, Mudama, please. Mudama, Secretary, just come here. I know the boss will hand over to you, and Secretary General at the end of the day. Yes. Asante sana, makofi mzuri. I can see now diaspora we are on the road, yeah? The road map ndio hiyo. Nao mambo yenu yote mmepeana, iko na president wetu wa 2022 ambaye is very keen. Unaona hiyo document alikuwa anaitafuta sana asikie mnataka namna gani. And I will maybe tell Your Excellency, watu hawa diaspora, their agenda is to make sure wameingia kwa chama ya UDA, they are recognized. Na kwa sababu hata Mudhama hako hapa, they want possession. Wawe na possession kwa chama ya UDA. After that, when we form the government, also they want to be involved. Hiyo utatuambia kwa sababu umetaja kwa Zoom, mkubwa utatuambia what you think about it, because they have just presented saying they want to be inside where the decision is made. Si ndio? Atatuambia where ataweka nyinyi diaspora ili mkue ndani, because the end of the day, Your Excellency, mimi tarudi bahati kufanya kazi yangu, but the diaspora watawachwa wakiwa hawana structure. Your Excellency, this is a history. Mbeleni ilikuwa imezoewa kutembea huko makandidate, kutembea America, Canada, wapi, talking with these people without document. This is history that now they are going to start from the party until to organize the government when we are together, so they can be able to solve their problem when they are in the government. And I'm happy all the time, Your Excellency, when you talk, always you talk about diaspora. Where are these people? What do they want? You are only the person ambaye unakumbuka watu ya nchi hii yote, minority, diaspora, everybody, disabled, watu yote. Na hiyo ndio nafanya sisi tukuheshimu sana. I mean, experience. Niko na ujuzi ya siasa 33 years. Mkiona nikimfuata ndugu yangu huyu, mjue I know what I'm doing. Na mkijua vile niliwaambia nikiwa Amerika, tutapanga na tumefika, si ndio? Na wakati tuko Amerika hata kwa kanisa, tukisema azungumuze na sisi kwa Zoom, si alikuwa anafanya? Unataka mtu mwingine aina gani? That's the guy. Wale wamekuja ni wapeleka kwake, mmekutana naye, mmeongea, and we are looking somebody we can talk with and somebody we can be able to reach. Finally, I'm very happy that I gave them office in Nakuru, where they are operating in that office. Where their coordinator is Shiko. Shiko, thanks so much. Even the work you have done, may God bless you so much. Let's work together, let's pull together, so that we can be able to reach where we want. Ama sina mna hiyo? Yes, and the question you had asked, wanasema wanalete pesa almost 400 billion in Kenya per year. Lakini wanashangaa hiyo tatuambia, alafu hiyo pesa wengine wanavuruta wanarudisha huko kuweka kwa mabenki. Is it right? Is it right? These people help their parents. Wanaleta pesa nyingi sana ya magonjwa. Wazazi wanapata dawa, wanapata kitu. Economy ikiharibika hapa, they must add extra time to work so that waweze kutimisha pesa ya dawa. So when you bring the economy down, I think they'll be very happy. Ama sina mna hiyo? Nyinyi watu wa bottom up. Can we see the hand of bottom up? Bottom up. Bottom up. Nyinyi hasora. Hasora nation. Thank you so much. I think now we go in the other stage. We are going to call the Secretary General, maybe to put the remarks. And maybe shortly, Your Excellency, I don't know whether you are going to give, we have our MPs who have worked very hard for us. You introduce them. We have our MPs hapa, our MPs wetu hapa. Bosi atawaintroduce Kimani Ichung'wah, wakati nilikuwa Amerika mniambia wapi Ichung'wah? Si yako hapa siku ya leo? Okay, bosi ataintroduce na wajibu wengine ambaye tuko nao hapa. Asante sana Secretary General, na Mungu awabariki na tutakaa hapa. Your Excellency, I don't know, tukimaliza kukula kwa sababu tunataka kukaa hapa, tunakuomba utupe ruhusa tuwakishe moto hapa tulale hapa. Si ndio? Si mungetaka namna hiyo? Tulale hapa, murudi na historia, tumelala hapa kwa depi, lakini pahali ya kulala nasemaga ni padogo sana Lakini tunashukuru sana. Thank you so much. Diaspora, God bless you. God be with you. Thank you, Secretary General.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Eliud Owalo. I'm the Deputy Secretary General for the UDA party, responsible for policy and strategy. This morning, I'm holding brief for our very able Secretary General, Madam Veronica Maina. She's not able to be here with us. She's out of the country on some official engagements, and the flight, there was some change in the flight schedules, so she's not able to be with us this morning. But she did ask me to pass her gratitude to you for the work that you have been doing in the areas of membership, in the areas of enhancing the visibility of the party in the diaspora. From where we sit as a secretariat, we will remain ready and available to provide you with all the technical and logistical support that you may require to enable us, one, enhance the visibility of the party within the diaspora, two, advocate for our policy positions among various stakeholder segments within the diaspora, and also ensure that there is proper integration between our policy platforms and the integral stakeholder segments within the diaspora. We will also, depending on unfolding events from time to time, be able to provide you with all the technical information that you may require as you strive to augment our efforts towards ensuring that our presidential candidate wins the forthcoming presidential elections in August 2022. On behalf of the party secretariat, once more, I must say that we owe you a great debt of gratitude for the support that you have been giving the party and the presidential candidate. May I now have the honor to invite our able chairman, Senator Johnston Mudama, to come and have a word with you before inviting the Excellency.
A very big good morning. Good morning to everybody. God is good, and all the time. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, leaders who represent different constituencies in this country of ours, party leadership, and our great sons and daughters here who have been blessed by God to have an opportunity to go outside this country and demonstrate what Kenyans can be and what Kenyans can do. Your Excellency, I want to take this opportunity to say one or two things. As the chairman of UDA, we have come together as Kenyans to form a party that will eliminate the divisions based on tribalistic that has been created by different political parties in this country, where you go and find that the party leader comes from that community and the Secretary General comes from that community and the Treasurer comes from that community, and it stretches up to a point where people stage negotiations not based on what Kenyans can gain at the end of the day, but what certain individuals and their communities they can gain at the end of the day. And questions has been raised in those discussions. And I'm saying this with the experience I have. I was in KANU. I have a live membership of KANU. I was in LDP. I was in ODM Kenya. I was in WIPA. I was in SDP with live memberships. I want to tell you, when you sit in that negotiating table under those kind of arrangements, the first question that comes is, which community do you come from? How many faults did you find in your community? That has brought a situation where if you are a Pokomo or a Lendile or a Maasai for that matter, you'll have no chance to bargain for the so-called your own people. But with UDA, we are looking at Kenya as one family, irrespective of which community you come from or which corner of this country you come from. And we are doing this to make sure that over and beyond changing the economic approach on how things are done in this country, the first thing with first priority is to unite this country to be one country. And I want to thank you, because when you went to live outside this country, work there, and I know you make gains there, you have never forgotten where you come from. And here we are with you, telling us we belong to you, we are part of you, and we want to be involved with the issues that are taking place in this country. And one of them is what we are waiting for in 2022. We are going to have a general election, and I have seen candidates here, aspirants who want to fight under UDA. Let me assure you one thing as the chairman of UDA. Nobody is going to be favored through nomination process because you are known to the chairman or to the deputy president or to anybody who is involved in the top leadership of the party. The treatment that will be given to those who are not known is the same treatment that is going to be given to those who perceive to have been established their connections within the party, because we take you as the true children of this country. and nobody is going to discriminate you. So when you come, don't expect also to be given a direct nomination. It will be a competitive nomination process. Where we cannot sort out our issues through nominations, we are going to have scientific opinion polls conducted to establish who is the most candidate in that place. If that does not work, as brothers and sisters, we would sit down and negotiate, have that serious negotiations where we end up agreeing on the way forward, where we will remain united. The most important thing will be UDA to win and form the government. The rest of things will come later on. If we focus on who is going to sit where and who is going to be given what, and forget about marshalling the votes that will make us form the government, then we will be wasting our time. So I want to give you once again these special congratulations for coming together and deciding to be connected and be there to discuss and participate in this conversation of Kenyans of being together. I remain a truthful chairman. Those we held meetings through Zoom, we discussed issues, and we agreed on many things, and we will continue doing the same. My voice is not very good. I had been speaking for the last 20 hours with the Deputy President. I don't know where he gets his strength from, because his sound, his voice is always the way it was the first day. And he will speak and speak on daily basis, and he never loses his voice. So once again, thank you very much. God bless you, and your issues are going to be addressed there by the Deputy President. And thank you for demonstrating to the world that we remain Kenya to be in the world map. I'm a businessman, and I'm an international businessman. In every business I do, it is connected with the international community, and I know how much we are recognized outside there. I don't know what happens when we get to serve in our country. I don't know what goes wrong with Kenyans' minds. And yet when you are outside there, you produce the best, and you are just the best, and there is no dispute about that. God bless you. Your Excellency, I want to take this opportunity to invite you to come.
Asante sana. Tafadhali, we can take our seats. The chairman of our party, Johnson Mudama, the chair, Mr. Paul Muite of this great organization, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Hamjambo. Let me take this opportunity first, niwakaribishe. I'm sure, if not everybody, the majority of us understand Kiswahili. Maybe you need to hear a bit of Kiswahili. You've been away for too long. So karibuni sana katika makao haya ya naibu wa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. This is what the media has branded the Hustler Mansion. So you're most welcome to the Hustler Mansion this morning. Not just today, when you have opportunity at another moment, and when God grants us that opportunity, I want to say welcome today and welcome again when you find time. Let me also appreciate all of you for finding the time to come and participate in this very first diaspora meeting in Kenya. I know we have held diaspora meetings as government, but we have never held a diaspora meeting as a political party. I want to say thank you very much for being the pioneers of building a party with joint forces between those of us who live in Kenya and the many of you who live in the diaspora. I want to say to all of you, congratulations for this very big step. I have been in political party arrangements since I ran for the first time when I was 30. But I have never attended a diaspora meeting in Kenya by a political party. This is the first one. So you people are trailblazing. You're setting the standard. And I know many of you have made huge sacrifices to make your travel arrangements, to make it possible for you to attend this meeting in person. And I don't take it for granted. I want to say thank you very much. And I want to assure you that this meeting will be worth every cent that you have spent to be here. I also want to say it is the highest mark of patriotism if you decide to participate in the governance of your country. Many people, because they are comfortable wherever they are, they have what they need, they don't see the need of participating in politics. But you know that it is said the people who don't vote, the punishment they are given is to be led by fools. You know, so if you decide not to vote or to participate in the governance of your country, others will. And there is a possibility that people will be chosen who may not necessarily be the ones you would want to run the affairs of your country. So the fact that you have stepped forward to participate and to influence and to be part of what will be the governance of your country going forward is a very high mark of patriotism. And I want to tell you, you have made the right step. If any one of you doubted whether by taking time out of your busy schedules, spending the money you have spent, going through the inconveniences you may have gone through with the advent of COVID-19, whether this was all worth it, let me tell you that just on the account that you want to play your patriotic role as a citizen, I want to tell you, you have made the right decision. And having said that, I also want to appreciate that for the first time, we are building a political party, and there is tremendous contribution from Kenyans of all walks of life. And you people from the diaspora have become, if I may say, with a light touch, the icing on the cake. It has never happened that people in the diaspora have been so enthusiastic and they have gone out of their way. They have really literally forced us to know that there is a diaspora, they have ideas, they have contributions to make in all manner of ideas. And I want to say to you, we don't take it for granted, and we value the partnership that we have between UDA as a party and the role you play as our diaspora. For a very long time, the discussion around the diaspora has just been about money, and how much money is coming in and that kind of thing. And I agree with you that that discussion cannot continue to just be about money. It must be about a wholesome relationship where you people can meaningfully participate in the governance of our country. And even as you support the country with diaspora finances, we must make it easier for you to make that contribution, and we must make it easier for you to be serviced by the government of Kenya, and also that your ideas and your talents can help push the country forward. I want to tell you that going into the future, that discussion and the engagement with the diaspora is not necessarily going to be about money. Money is important, but it is going to be about more than money. We're going to look out for ideas that you have. We're going to look out for contributions in terms of the human resource that we are building outside there. And it's going to be about how we can tap into the talent that exists within the diaspora for us to grow our country locally and our country internationally. Let me also tell you that the journey of building this party, the UDA party, has been a journey that many Kenyans have participated. And it is out of the realization that having built the Jubilee Party as a national party, we managed to move things a lot more faster in the 8 years that Jubilee has governed this country. It became possible to harness the energy, the talent, the ideas of majority of Kenyans because of the national nature of the Jubilee Party until it stopped being one. So the genesis of us putting together the UDA party is when we ran into trouble with the Jubilee Party because the leadership there decided that they changed the way of running things, and many of the party members were removed from leadership positions in parliament, removed from leadership positions in committees, removed from participating meaningfully in any party affairs. It was not possible to have a meeting of the party, and the only meetings that happened in the party were meetings for expulsion of members. So it became absolutely clear that it was time to re-engineer a national political party. And it's because all of us realized the importance of a national political party. The milestones we managed to make as a government, and I am talking as deputy president, the milestones we managed to achieve as government, whether it is the SGR, whether it is the 10,000 kilometers of tarmac, new tarmac we have built, whether it is the 8.5 million people we have managed to connect to electricity, whether it is the 170 new technical training colleges that we have built, were all achieved because we had a national political party that had the capacity to harness talent, leadership, ideas from the biggest section of the people of Kenya. And that being the case, and having practically been part of that journey, we then decided with many leaders that with the collapse, so to speak, of Jubilee, our party, we came up and put together the UDA party. I want to tell you today the efforts of many leaders in Kenya, and I specifically want to thank the members of parliament that worked with us towards putting this party together. Today, the UDA party is the most popular political party in Kenya. And every opinion poll carried out by everybody shows that. Today, we have 160 members of parliament who are supporters of the UDA party. In fact, the UDA parliamentary group is the largest parliamentary group in the Kenyan parliament. And it is the sheer effort of many Kenyans that have put this UDA party together, including the people from diaspora. So if you had any doubt whether the efforts you have put in creating the UDA party have borne any fruit, I want to confirm to you that you have participated in creating the most popular party in Kenya with the largest parliamentary group in our parliament. And I want to say congratulations to all of you for being part and parcel of that journey. The second issue I want to discuss with you is the UDA party and the future. What is our position? Because you've heard from our party chairman, who has said that for a long time, political parties in Kenya were formulated around tribes and communities and regions. And we have this false narrative that, politics in Kenya is tribal. That is a very unfortunate narrative, because it's a narrative that makes us resign to a situation that undermines the growth and development of our nation. We cannot accept. And it is a narrative that is actually peddled by lazy people. When a politician is unable to develop a proper framework, an ideology that they can use to persuade Kenyans to belong, then they resign to the easy option of a tribal party. And as we've heard from our chairman, except maybe 2 political parties in Kenya, except 2, all the other 60 or so political parties, you can actually conduct their NEC meeting or parliamentary group in mother tongue. Right? So you actually have a very unfortunate scenario there. The UDA party is part of the response to get our country out of the jaws of ethnic politics so that we can form a broad-based political party with an ideology that can bring Kenyans together, where Kenyans feel they belong to UDA, not necessarily because of who leads UDA, but because of what UDA stands for. And this is our policy position as UDA. Number one, we believe as a party that the challenge that we must tackle as a priority, and where millions of Kenyans expect us to. And I will tell you of an incident about 2 months ago. Right in this place, there was a lady sitting there, and she was given an opportunity to speak from one of the areas in Nairobi. And the lady had this to say. She said, and she was almost 80. So she said, her grandfather and the children of her grandfather did not get a job anywhere. And so did her own father's children. She has not managed herself to get a job for any of her children. And even her grandchildren, nobody has got a job. So there has been 5 generations in her family, and not a single person has had the opportunity to have a job. That's how serious unemployment is in Kenya. As we talk today, we have 4 million young people out of school with certificates, degrees, diplomas, some of them with masters, and they do not have jobs. So the position of UDA is that the first priority, and we had created a framework under the Big Four, which we were unable to implement because of shenanigans around politics, that next year we must invest resources, and we are clear where those resources are going to come from. We're going to invest at least 100 billion Kenya shillings in housing, agro-processing, value addition, and manufacturing to create millions of jobs for the young people of our nation. That is our position. Our second item as a policy position, and when we talk about jobs, we are not just talking about creating jobs in Kenya. Creating jobs in the diaspora is part of our strategy. And I like what was mentioned here by the report that we had here, that we need to sign labor relationships, human resource relationship with different countries where we can export our labor once we have labor in excess. There are already relationships going on. There are discussions going on. In fact, we have started to see some of the labor export MOUs bearing fruit. And as has been said here, there are countries who have specialized on labor outside their country. So when we discuss about jobs, we are discussing about jobs, our economy, and our economy goes beyond our borders. The second issue is that we clearly want to create an environment for us to do business. And it is our position that we have to create a business environment. We've been working on our ease of doing business indices, and we have driven it from 100, we were position number 136. The last time we had reached position 50 in our ease of doing business index that is sponsored by the World Bank. Our position is that access to credit is a big issue in our country. And as a result, we have said that going into the future, and because 80% of our business environment is controlled by SMEs, small, medium, and micro enterprises. Next year, we will have a fund funded by the government of Kenya. We will start with the first 50 billion Kenya shillings to be able to make it possible for ordinary business, the small business people, to be able to access credit. You may want to know that today, the small business people pay anywhere between 5 and 10% per day for money they borrow, which is between 2,000 and 3,000% per year. Do you understand what I'm saying? You will not believe it, but that's what it is. Small people, the micro business people, they pay 1,000 times in terms of credit than the big corporations pay, because they have no security, they have no credit rating, and so they cannot access credit in any other way. You may want to know that as a result of that credit ecosystem being what it is today, and I want you to follow the President's speech on Mashujaa Day, 14 million Kenyans are blacklisted on CRB. Do you know what 14 million Kenyans mean? It's more than half the working population in Kenya. That's how serious that credit ecosystem is. So, for us to grow business, we have to do three things. Number one, we need to create an environment where many of our enterprises can do their business. Physical infrastructure, whether it is markets or such other infrastructure that our ordinary business people can do their business. Number two is to create the necessary law to protect everybody's business. Today, many businesses are criminalized. Hawking takes place everywhere in the world. It is only in Kenya that hawking is a criminal offense. We have to find the place for hawkers, because there is a business they are doing. So what we do is to hire thousands of personnel to fight hawkers. We should actually reverse it. We shouldn't make hawking legal, but now formalize it so that it is organized and doesn't become a battle. Yeah, it doesn't become a conflict, you know. Organize it in proper places, with the time, and a properly organized environment. And finally, as I have said, we need to organize the financial ecosystem so that small enterprises can access credit that is not 1,000 times more expensive than the other corporates. Number three, we are very clear on what we need to do going into the future. That we must reduce the cost of living. If you hear any Kenyan, they will tell you, in fact, the single big challenge we have, in any opinion poll, Kenyans will say the cost of living is very high. And the only reason why the cost of living is very high is because the last survey we did as government, every Kenyan spends 52, on average, I'm not saying people out there, I'm saying on average. On average, Kenya Bureau of Statistics tell us every Kenyan spends 52% of their income in buying food. So if you are spending 52% of your income in buying food, it means you have very little left after you pay rent and other incidentals, very little left in your pocket. And the reason why we have food that is very expensive is for two reasons. One, we have withdrawn all the subsidies that we used to support the farmers to be able to increase their productivity. We must go out of our way to increase the productivity of our farmers. Where a farmer is producing 10 kilos, with a bit of support, they can produce 15 kilos on the same piece of land. So that's the direction we want to go, and that means we have to provide seeds, we have to provide fertilizer, we have to provide support that is paid for by government, so that we can enhance the productivity of our farmers. It will do two things. Number one, it will put more money in the farmer's pocket. And number two, when we remove cartels and we remove brokers, we will get food to the market at affordable prices. If we can reduce on average, instead of 52% of every Kenyan spending their income on food, if we can bring it to 30 or 35, we will then have more money in the pockets of Kenyans. They can spend more, we can collect more taxes, and we can drive the economy of our country. Point number 4 is we have to sort out our health care system. I know many of you pay hefty bills from wherever you are, and so do we here in Kenya. If there is one big problem that is a challenge to many families and many homes and many people, it is the challenge of health. When we came into office in 2013, the people who had a health insurance who were on health insurance program were about 3.5 million who had an NHIF card. We worked on it because everybody was paying 340 shillings to NHIF. 340 shillings is how many dollars? $3 every month. $1, $2, $3. You know? And so we pushed it a bit. And from $3, I now pay $1,700. $1,700 is what? How many dollars? $17. So I now pay $17. Just moving it from $3 to $17 are not for everybody. For the higher category, we moved our collections from just under 900 million Kenya shillings, which is $9 million, I think. We moved it to 3.5 billion, which is about $30 million, just by moving that small percentage. Now, today, the lower category, the people whose income is like 5,000 shillings a month, they pay 500 shillings, which is 10% of their income. But you as truly the deputy president who earns 1 million shillings is paying 1,700, which is not 10%, The small guy is paying 10% of their income. I am paying 5 zeros before 1. Because I pay 1,700. So we have just passed the law in Parliament, which we should have passed in 2018, because our universal health coverage program that was in the Big Four collapsed because of the reggae shenanigans. Yeah? We were too busy engaged in this. Now, we just found time about a month ago after the reggae collapse. We found time and passed the law that we should have passed in 2018. So we now have a law that will allow us to change the contribution schedule from being a standard figure to being what the world is doing, to being a percentage of everybody's income. So that if the lowest category is paying 10%, then we must decide everybody pays 10%. If we think that is too much, then let us pay 5%, or let's pay 2%, but let it be spread evenly up in accordance with everybody's income. I want to tell you that even if we settled for 3%, we will move our contribution from around maybe 60, 70 billion shillings every year. We will move it to between 200 and 250 billion shillings every year. And I tell you, we will have a working public insurance, hospital insurance scheme that will sort out all our challenges in matters health. I have committed myself that within the first 100 days of our next administration, we will have a working public health insurance scheme. I am prepared to be held to account on that particular matter because I have been at it for the last 8 years and I know it is doable. Yeah? So that you guys in the diaspora, you do not need to be sending money to pay for hospitals. All you will need to do is to put your folks on a health insurance scheme funded by the public with your contribution, and matters hospital bills will be a thing of the past. And finally, our plan, we have a 5-point plan. Finally, our plan, point number 5, is to re-engineer our public saving strategy. Today, statistics, the numbers, we save as Kenya 7% of our GDP, right? China, by comparison, saves 55% of their GDP. 7% and 55%. Do you see the difference? And that's the reason why we are all over the place borrowing Chinese money, because they have learned to save. We have no money of our own because investment is a function of savings. If you have not saved, you cannot invest because you have nothing. So what are we doing? We are running our development using the savings of other people because we have refused to save ourselves. Do you understand what I'm saying? Go to ask them for their pay slip. The money we save in our national social security. Sorry. Pole. Yeah. Our seats are a bit uncomfortable. Do you understand what I'm saying? Go to everybody pay slip. They will tell you the savings we save to NSSF is 200 shillings. How much? 200 shillings. $2. Everybody pays $2. Explain to me logically how $2 can amount to any saving anywhere in the world. Do you understand what I'm saying? Uganda across, the law dictates that you save 5% of your salary. And your employer contributes 5% to your saving. Uganda have built the largest social security fund in East and Central Africa. Yet we have the largest economy. Sometimes you wonder, maybe sitting where you are sitting, whether what I am telling you is true or because it doesn't look serious. But that's how it is. You know, that's how it is. And that's how simple it is for us to sort out our country. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, we already have worked on the law. We were supposed to have moved forward with it. But because we became busy trying to change the constitution, which we did not, we lost a lot of valuable time. Next year, God willing, we will have the law that will enable us do the honorable thing. In fact, Tanzania built the whole parliament using their own money. They borrowed from their NSSF. Instead of us borrowing money from China, we should begin the journey to save our own money and fund our development using money borrowed from our own sources and pay interest to our own Kenyans and be able to fund our development. Instead of paying interest to Chinese savers, you know, because they did the right thing to fund their own savings. And by the way, take seriously what I am telling you, because that's what it is, you know. So we should be able to turn around our fortunes. And I want to tell you one thing. I am very clear in my mind that within our lifetime, when we are all still there, this country will change in a way you cannot imagine. Before we go anywhere, we don't need more than 20, 25 years. Kenya will be something else. Are we together? This, our country, this one, it will be something else. Everything else you hear, these are just excuses. The most critical thing that we need in Kenya is just leadership. That's all. We have everything else in place. We just need the men and women to make the right decisions for us, and Kenya will change tremendously. And we have a record for it, you know. When we embarked on the infrastructure you heard the President talk about in Parliament, many people thought it was impossible to do 10,000 kilometers of tarmac in 10 years, because we have done 11,000 in 50 years. But we achieved it, right? Many people thought it was not possible for us to connect 8 million people to electricity because 2 million people were collected in 50 years. But we've done it, right? So what I am telling you is doable. We just need to get the right fellows to get it done. And that is why we have assembled UDA to help us achieve this plan and transform our nation. Our problem, good people, our problem is not ethnicity. Are we together? Let us not struggle too much as we are trying to... our problem is this. We just need the correct leadership. Hii ukabila ita evaporate. Once everybody can get what they want, why do you want to know who belongs to what tribe? But you know, when people have failed, they start to explain, oh, you know, we have failed here because that community has gotten more than us. You go and check with that community, they have nothing. We are all in the same pot. Hii ni ukora tu ya hapa katikati so that people can continue to be relevant. Are we together? So that is my what I wanted to explain to you. Let me then just conclude by responding to some of the issues you have raised. Yes, we will have a diaspora ministry. You know, and I am very clear in my mind that we will have a diaspora ministry. Are we together? And it's not a favor. It's not a favor. It is because we need it, and it will help us do many things. So it is a given, yeah? There is no even negotiating around it. We'll have a diaspora ministry. Number two, we must create financial instruments that will enable you to be able to invest in your country without necessarily being conned left, right, and center. Yeah? We will create financial instruments that will help you invest. If we are investing in our housing program, for example, you don't have to struggle buying cement, somebody doing iyo mambo yote. We will give you an opportunity to buy into a house that is ready. You know? Properly, in a properly organized neighborhood, in a properly secured arrangement where, and it's not just you, all Kenyans, but we will make it easy for you guys to be able to invest in your country in real estate and in every other area that you want to invest. We will make it possible for you to help us invest in bonds that will help finance our development. Today, banks are making a killing by putting their money in bonds, yeah, where they are getting interest of 10, 15%. There is no mechanism for you as a single person in diaspora to participate. We must structure that bond network so that even ordinary people with $100, $200, $50 can also invest in bonds and get this money that banks today are making. If you look at the balance sheet of any bank in Kenya, 50% of their profit is because of government bonds. That 50% of money they make should not just be made by banks. Banks should actually not be investing in government bonds. We should get the public, like yourselves, to invest in government bonds. Banks should be lending money to Kenyans. Yeah? They should be doing real business. They should not just be sitting in offices and making money from, government bonds. Are we together? We must, hopefully with a diaspora ministry, the kind of challenges you go through trying to get this paper, that paper, an ID, to renew your passport, to renew this, to get a visa here. We actually came in with the e-citizen platform, which in my opinion, I thought it would have made it much more easier for citizens around the world to get access to government services. I know we've made quite a stride, but there are still challenges, around e-citizen. That is something we should correct. In a world of technology, surely, somebody must not necessarily be traveling 8 hours to go and collect a document, surely. In a world of technology, we should be able to do that from wherever you are sitting, And ICT is a big thing in Kenya, and we should be able to make it possible. So we will need a discussion around all that, so we make it easy for us to service Kenyans who are outside our borders, as we do those who are within. The welfare issue you have mentioned, sometimes Kenyans feel abandoned. They get into situations around the world, and there is nobody to help them, and there is nobody to come through for them. I think that is something that hopefully the Diaspora Ministry will think through. And when we talk about the Diaspora Ministry, we will try as much as we can to get people with diaspora experience to run that ministry, so that we can leverage on their knowledge and understanding on diaspora issues and be able to help us sort them out faster and much more efficiently. Kenya is very poorly represented internationally, especially in international organizations. We are actually punching below our weight. You will find that in the UN agencies, in international organizations, I think the number of Kenyans working in those international organizations are the fewest for any country. So the people in the diaspora is a resource that we must use to be able to leverage our place in international organizations, because you will have the relevant experience that can give us the opportunity to get into those positions. I don't know when the Secretary General of the United Nations is going to be a Kenyan. Yeah? So I'm talking of something like that, We've had somebody from Egypt. We've had Kofi Annan from some corner. I mean, there must be a day when we will have a Kenyan as the Secretary General of the United Nations. And I'm just giving the UN as an example. Are we together? And I agree with you that we should have county chapters of the diaspora, so that every county can leverage on the people they have wherever it is around the world. So, good people, I am the UDA Policy Task Force. My good friend Eliud Owalo is here. In fact, he is our contact person at the party on matters to do with the diaspora, so that we can be able to work out things a lot faster. And As you've heard, the Secretary General is out of town. She was supposed to travel back yesterday, but there was a problem with her traveling, so her flight was cancelled, so she will come, but a bit later. This is a very important engagement for us, and that's why we are here. I also want to tell you that as you are in Kenya, we are looking up to you to provide ideas, expertise, and also support our fundraising initiatives as we build the Hustler Party. You know, the Hustler Party is a party for everybody, and every cent and every shilling and every dollar counts. So again, I want to welcome you to that space. Don't shy away from your ideas. Don't shy away from whatever it is that you can contribute in terms of talent. And I like the idea somebody said here. We also are working on adopt a polling station, adopt a sub-county, adopt a ward, you know. If we, and the party, Eliud and your team should be able to prepare packages. You know, what does adopt a polling station entail? What does adopt a ward entail? What does adopt a sub-county entail? How do we create a pool of volunteers? We have so many volunteers already in Kenya, fashioned differently. We have all manner of, we have many groups that have volunteered, formed themselves into Hustler this, Hustler the other, UDA this, and that kind of thing. So that big body of people are the people we want to harness as volunteers to make our push for the party. So I know I have taken a bit of time, but I just thought I need to share these ideas with you so that we are all of the same mind. I will sit here for another 45 minutes to listen to some of the feedback from you guys, and then we will then agree on how to go forward. Sawa sawa. Asanteni sana na karibuni. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your kind words. And we really appreciate what the encouragement you have given us. And we'll be more than glad if you can be able to, we can be able to become your office, right? Good. At this time, I think diaspora, we also gender sensitive, and we do care about our youth. It's my pleasure to introduce our youth leader just for 2 minutes to tell us where our youth is headed. Victoria.
Good afternoon. My name is Kenyatta from Denmark, as I have presented before. Your Excellency, honorable members, and distinguished guests, and everyone. I work in Denmark as a development representative. Organization that deals with mental health. And as you have heard, I also represent UDA Youth. possible to bring this country to a bring in so many young people. We also have a very young leader, and that's actually something that we can be able to utilize a lot. The brains, the youngness, and the ability to be able to be in leadership for a very long period and be able to create change in the country. Now, what do we have to offer? We offer our brains, we offer mobility, we offer the ability to be able to bring on board as many young people as possible and as many energetic people as possible, as you can already see me running around here, yeah? So to be able to help as much as possible to bring this country to a very different level. We can't be left behind as a country. Kenya has amazing brains when it comes to people. Amazing brains when it comes to people. So as you're here, support us, help us, as we also support UDA in the very best capability that we can be able to do. Thank you so much. And my name is Victoria Nkata, and you feel free to connect with me at any point. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Victoria. Now we have come to another session, and I know they have a lot of questions they would like to ask. We are going to do a question and answer session, and I'm going to have only 10 questions. Let's do 3 at a time. From this side, 3, 3, 3. Let's go here. 3 questions before we answer. Go on. Can you hear?
Okay, I greet you all protocols observed. My name is Shiki Maloba. I am a sports fanatic. And everything that has been mentioned, I'm sorry to say, nothing about sports has been mentioned. And why I'm saying this is, I think a lot of our income comes from the sports people outside. So now, for example, I play rugby. I played rugby in South Africa. I was one of the first pro rugby players. And why it comes to my concern is when I come back home, my teammates, they play very well. They're good sports people. They get to be poached out of the country. But now they have no clue. For example, if South Africa comes and gets good sports people in Kenya, who helps these sports people outside the country? There's no one to talk to them. They know nothing. When you go out the country, they don't take your mother. They don't take your teammates. They just take you as a person. They take you to a country. For instance, a country that doesn't speak your language. Let's say I go to France. I don't speak French. I'm supposed to play. I have my money. What do I do with my money? I have people back home I need to help. How do I help my people? Who is going to help me answer all those questions? So now my point is, if we have a place where I get called for a team to play, and I come to an office. This office, I'll be like, okay, they've called me in France. I don't know French. Who's going to help me? Who's going to help my journey through my team? Okay. Right? Thank you. All right. Thank you very much.
Let's make our questions as short as possible because of time. Thank you very much. I think that will come up. Okay, go on.
Your Excellency, all protocols observed. My name is Joseph Kasikoe from Jabali, Africa. I'm a diasporan. I've been representing this country for the last 28 years. I'm a musician. We've been doing a lot of things out there, but we've never been getting, we've realized our creative industry, basically we are people who've benefited from the creative systems abroad. And I would like to know what your policy is towards the creative industry. Right now, as we speak, I've been nominated for a Grammy, So, and apart from that, I've been in the diaspora. I have kids in the diaspora. And my question was, I'm really much concerned about this voting situation. Because I feel like once we get the right to vote, our voices will be heard better. So I want to know what you think about this voting situation. Thank you.
Okay, at the back there. Let's have someone at the back. No question? Okay. Okay, go on.
Deputy President, Nyikanete, you talked about how you're going to plan the government. You didn't tell us about corruption. When we are out there, we do our stuff. We don't have to bribe anybody to do for us. What we need, we can actually give a tip. So, utaweza kufanya namna gani? If the corruption can stop in this country, we will really prosper. Our country will be different. You've been called names, a thief, and all this. Can you prove that you can block all the loopholes and that our country will be? I know God is going to vindicate you, and you're going to be a wonderful president. Congo amazing.
Now the last question. Yes, at the back there. Yeah, here. The last one.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you so much, Your Excellency, for the wonderful information you have passed on to us. Now, my question is around the health plans that you have. It is interesting that we are going to have a new law based on percentages. But here we are, people in the diaspora. When we look at the law, basically, you find that this package favors the residents of Kenya. Depending on the countries where we are, others may have health insurance schemes that recognize, let's say, transborder or beyond the countries where they live, US, Canada, and wherever. But now, when we have one at home, will there be anywhere where a diasporian will be able now to subscribe, however small it is, so that when we come home and we are from those countries that do not extend their insurances to Kenya, will that be covered? And now, if it is based on percentage, how will it be determined? Will it be determined by our income there, or it will be a flat rate, which now is not going to be applicable? Thank you.
Thank you. You want us to take? Yeah, thank you very much. Let me start with Shiki. We can't bring everything into planned. We are pitching through the 5 principles, but everything else is covered. We have a plan on education, we have a plan on sports, we have a plan on creative industry, and what the thoughts are is in our bigger manifesto plan. What I just said here, the 5 points, is what becomes the central, the center of our drive. But all the other issues you have mentioned, the value of our sportsmen, the value of the creative industry, we must set up the infrastructure to support our creative industry. We have a whole chapter on what we intend to do in our creative industry. What we did last as a government was to take all the funds that we collect from gambling and that kind of thing and put them in a fund where we use, because the biggest problem we've had is the resources to invest in building creative industry infrastructure, studio, facilities in stadia. In fact, you may want to know that we are in the process of completing the big question of stadia, and we did isolate money using, as I have said, money that we get from gambling and such, so that it is dedicated money that cannot fund anything else, but can fund our sports infrastructure and the creative industry. And we have a fund called the Sports and Art Fund, which we created the last 3 years.
and it has seen a lot of tremendous growth in our sports space. And I think I've touched part of the issues you guys there raised. The issue on corruption, this is my position on matters to do with corruption. The biggest problem with corruption in Kenya is when it becomes politicized. The biggest challenge we have is, and I've said this, there is one statement Willie Mutunga, our former Chief Justice, said, that for the time he was in office, the hotline, which normally is the line that the president uses to call people at a certain level, he said that hotline never rang. And not that it was faulty. Kibaki did not call anybody to do anything. He allowed the institutions to function. Right? My position in matters of fighting corruption is to make sure, as we have done under this administration, to make sure that the DPP has the software, the human resource, and the financial resources to discharge his responsibility. And so must be the courts. Today, the courts, and I said this in Bomas when we had this BBI thing, today we have a judiciary fund that has never been operationalized. And judiciary gets 40% of the money it is supposed to get for them to discharge their responsibility. The judiciary, in accordance with the law, is supposed to get 2.5% of our budget. They get less than 1%. And with a judiciary undermined that far, it becomes very difficult to fight corruption. Right? We put a lot of resources in the investigative agencies. My position is that the fight against corruption will succeed when we capacitate all the institutions charged with fighting corruption and we remove politics from it. As so long as there is a clear push that people are prosecuted politically in the name of corruption, we will never win the fight against corruption. And it is almost public knowledge today in Kenya that you can be as corrupt as you want so long as you have the right friends. As long as you are not a friend of William Ruto, you can be, as long as you don't associate with William Ruto, you can steal anything you want. Yeah? And it is so obvious that people will tell you today in Kenya that I have to be a friend of so-and-so so that I am not charged in court for corruption. Are we together? So the moment the people of Kenya are of the perception that the war against corruption is not about those who have stolen. It is about those who do not have friends in high office. Then the war against corruption is lost. My position is that we need to eject politics out of the fight against corruption, and we need to support all the institutions charged with the fight against corruption, including oversight. Today, if you do not even have a properly functioning opposition, how do you hold government to account? You know? If all efforts are being made to recruit the opposition into government so that they shut up whenever wrong things are going on, That's going the complete wrong direction. That's why my position is we should have institutions, oversight institutions, whether it is the opposition, whether it is the committees in Parliament, whether it is the office of the DCI, the EACC, and the only instruction they should have is not from any politician, but from the law. That should be our position, and that is my position. On the issue of the health plan we have, I think you are 3-4 steps ahead of us. I think you just need to be patient, yeah? Let's get the plan up and running, and then slowly we will see how, when it begins working in Kenya, we can then figure out and learn from experience how we can make it cross our borders, and how, when you heard me say you can pay, I was talking about you paying for your loved ones who are living in Kenya. I am very sure wherever you live, they could be having a better plan than we do, or a working plan at the moment. And maybe if it is not, then we will all work together and see how that can work out. Okay? Maybe you can take another 3 or 4.
Thank you, Excellency, for your answers. I think we are going to go for the next 4 questions. It's only fair on this side. Yes, sir.
Where you responded so far. My question goes that these people have. Diaspora is so much, they have access to so much resources. But the big problem is, if we do get some resources donated to bring it back to this country, when it gets to the port of entry in Mombasa, the taxes becomes exorbitant and it's impossible even to bring him in. As we speak, I was able to source medical equipment for 45 million. This medical equipment will be donated to my constituency. But as I sleep every night, I wonder, when this medical equipment gets to the port, how much am I going to pay in terms of taxes? There are so many friends, they would love to support this country by giving equipment or other resources. But when it comes in, the KRA will just say, okay, we want to tax it. And we'll end up saying, okay, I'll just let it go. And I don't know what they take or what they do with it. So I want to know what your policy or what your government will do to encourage diaspora to source with friends and also people to help this country by donating things that can help our country.
Thank you very much. Yes. No, behind you, please. Please, you'll come, you'll be next.
Shida yangu kubwa ni kuwa kuna barrier especially kwa diaspora. Tuko hapa kukusupport 100% na tumeanza kazi. Tumefanya data reading kwa mahali nimetoka na we have around 250 houses na youth ni wingi. Method ni nzuri ya campaign, inaendelea vizuri, but building relationship at community level is the problem. Tumefuatiliza na tumeamua kama community we will work together, na tumeamua tunataka kukubak wewe. Na the reason tunakubak culture, na nimemleta mwenzangu kutoka India hapa, tunaenda kushughulikia mambo ya agriculture. Sasa nimeomba vile nitapata njia ya kueleza the method that I want to use, and I believe it will bring more potential to our party. Isikuwe shida sisi kukumit. Asante sana.
Thank you very much. Let's go at the back, Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Your Excellency. I'm called Swamiko Victor. I come from Uganda. I have 3 questions to Your Excellency. Number 1 is, last year we produced a lot of maize in Uganda, but our farmers were denied to access maize to Kenya. That they say that our maize were toxic, yet people from Uganda were eating the same maize. Number 2, the issue of, in Uganda we have what we call parish model, parish development model. It is exactly like bottom up. I was just emphasizing that, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of Kenya, that motto of bottom up. It has started in Uganda, but the only difference of Uganda is parish development model. It is exactly the same. And in Uganda, it has started working. So I hope in Kenya, this model is going to work. Then lastly, I have a very serious issue here. We have our people in diaspora who have finished schools, but sometimes when they apply for jobs in Kenya and they studied from Uganda or other parts of the world, they are denied access to jobs because they studied from different countries. My concern is, how are you going to sort that issue out so that we are all treated equally? Then I appreciate you by saying, the likes of Dindi Nyoro, Ichungwa, Susan Kika, some of us in Uganda, we really follow you people. And if you talk about Deputy President of Kenya, if you talk negative, even they can kill you in Uganda. We love you, Deputy President. Thank you very much.
Okay. The lady in the yellow there. And that's the last question.
Praise the Lord. I'm glad we are dining with the King, and we will never be the same again. I'm Janet from UAE. I've worked for the airline for 15 years. And mine is not actually a question. It's actually to see how you can, UDA can help us or empower us, because our employers, they trust us. From 2019, I've been trying to get a landing right for our airline, just trusted by my employee, but I'm not able. And this landing will create job opportunities for so many Kenyans, because I negotiated that. I told them, if I get the landing, will you guys bring expatriates or you will employ our people? I thought that was the winning card, by trying to speak to the people I was told to speak to, that they will give us the landing in condition that our people are the ones who are employed. But I have not bore fruit since 2019, November. I have even asked letters to be written to the ministry, but there is no reply. We have so many Arabs who want to invest. They even gave me another project on machines that produce water from the atmosphere. And I also put a negotiation card, like train our people so that we can be servicing these machines. They gave me 2 machines worth millions. They are here. When it arrived here and it's a donation package, I had to pay millions for taxes. So how do we combat all this? Because we have opportunities where we can help our sisters and our brothers through patriotism and the love of our country. But we have barriers. Barriers that only God can help us. And God equip you because of the young mind and the fresh anointing that will be there for you. You are our Moses. We love you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gentleman from Masoro. Here, my good patron also had a similar problem. In fact, the things he had managed to get were auctioned. So, now, you see, we have a background. The background was, once upon a time, the law permitted that, gave discretion to the Minister for Finance to waive taxes on case by case on items that discretion was abused. So when we developed, or when Kenyans were rewriting the Constitution in 2010, they actually locked the doors and the windows and everything. And they said, everybody must pay tax. It was in response to an abuse on the tax system that was used by a few people to benefit people in different ways. That's what we have as a problem today in Kenya, that the law, the Constitution actually, it's not even the law, the Constitution demands that taxes are paid on everything. Now, we will progressively have to deal with it because we have lost many opportunities, as has been said here. Many people have donated, and I get letters upon letters on my desk of people saying, look, these things are being donated for free. Why are you asking us to pay 3 million, 5 million tax on an item that was donated for free, for charity, or to help a community health center, or to help in this or the other. That's a discussion we must have, and that's a discussion within government we must look at critically. It is not something that you're telling me. It is something that is present on my desk every day. People raising issues, not just even Kenyans, even our development partners. They are concerned that even when they want to donate something, you know, you're giving somebody something for free and he's telling you, pay so that you give me. You know, it doesn't make sense, you know. For you to give me the gift you want to give me, you have to pay me to receive it, you know. It's really counterproductive. So that's a discussion that is alive, and I won't give you a straight answer today, but it is something that as we go forward, we must have a discussion around it and find a solution to it, so that we cannot disadvantage ourselves in a situation where you are in need, but you are asking to be paid for your need to be sorted out. You know? My good lady there on what they are doing about community relationships and trying to build a network of support around different communities. We will wade through those because approaches are different. One community to another community, the approach is different. We have cultural issues, we have customer issues. We all have to balance how we drive our agenda. I know you have said that it shouldn't be very difficult for you people to meet me. While that is very true, and I try to be as available as I can, but I'm just one person, you know. It's not possible for me to meet everybody. And that's why we have a party structure. That's why we have all other structures to help support this whole effort. Eliud Owalo here will also help you on matters you have raised on the contributions of ideas in agriculture. We have our economic team, a very talented group of good Kenyans. My good brother Eliud is a member of that team, and he can facilitate a meeting between whoever you want us to meet with our team, and we will be able to tap into the good ideas on farming that you have, and we can be able to bring them on board. I think Eliud, you can facilitate that. I agree with the gentleman from Uganda that we have challenges of imports of maize, and we just need to help our people in Uganda. I am among the people who import maize from Uganda for my chicken, and there is a real problem with maize from Uganda. I must tell you. In fact, we just stopped importing maize from Uganda because the cuckoos became sick. And largely, it has nothing to do with, it's just the handling, because most of the infrastructure, you know, on the road, so the maize come when it is already brown, and it becomes very, there is a small problem which we can deal with, you know, in just matters of handling the maize, but it's not an excuse for people to lock the gates against the maize coming from Uganda, because Uganda is a very big source of maize as Tanzania is for Kenya. Maybe when you are talking about the way it is handled so that it gets contaminated and then it brings challenges, we have to work as countries to be able to sort out that problem. The parish model in Uganda is you are 100% correct. It is the bottom-up approach. And that is why, for those of you who are here, Uganda used to be our #1 destination for exports. You will be surprised that today Uganda exports more to us than we export to them. And it's because of what Museveni has done with that bottom-up economic model. He has created production. We have challenges with maize, as that good brother has said. We have challenges with sugar. We have challenges with eggs coming from Uganda because they now produce more than we do, and their price is cheaper than ours. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the thing has actually reversed, has gone full circle. Today, we are exporting less to Uganda. They're exporting more to us. Yet they used to be our #1 export destination. It means we have to really think about our model, and that is why I have come up with the proposal of the bottom-up economic model so that we can fire our economy from the below, where we have the majority of our citizens. I appreciate your support, all of you. I don't take it for granted. I know it comes with a lot of emotion, and it's all because we all want the best for our country. Janet, the whole issue of an opportunity to have landing rights is not quite a commercial issue. It is also a very big political issue. Maybe if I would get somebody to discuss with you how that goes, because it's not a straightforward commercial issue. There is a lot of politics in being allowed to land in a country. We struggled to get Kenya Airways to land in America. It took us quite a while, and a lot of you must do this, you must do this, you must do the other, you must do the other. We just signed, when the president was in South Africa, some collaboration between our two airlines. It's normally handled at a very high level because there is a lot of politics around it, and where you fly, with who. You know, when you have landing rights in one country, it affects your landing rights with the next country because of the relationship between your country and that other country and the other country. Sometimes there are countries, because of differences, you cannot be allowed to overfly a certain country. So there is a lot of geometry around it that eventually informs a decision whether you get a landing right or not. So again, I sympathize with your frustration in trying to get some of our people employed using your airline. But maybe if it is something that is brought to our attention directly, we can be able to advise on what needs to be done and clearly know whether there is a possibility or not, right? So that we can all move together. Maybe we can take the last two questions or so, and then I can allow the MPs to speak.
Okay, we'll take.
And please, make it short, ask your question.
Thank you, His Excellency, the Deputy President, honorable members, and the delegate. My name's Joki Dhuku. I'm the daughter of the late Harry Dhuku, the freedom fighter. Happy to be with you here this afternoon. I have three questions. One is about the freedom fighters. What plans do you have for the freedom fighters who fight for the freedom which is making us to be here where we are today, including my dad and the other voiceless freedom fighters? The other thing, apart from Harry Dhuku, we don't have anything given the honor in the rate of my dad. What does the government plan to do so? I would appreciate if my dad is recognized somewhere else beside Hariduk Road. The other one is about, I'm a Kenyan citizen by birth and everything. But this issue of coming from America and we are being charged visa to come to my country, it's painful. Why are we being charged? Why are being charged visa to come to our country? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll take one more here, and yes, from the gentleman in the red. And that's the land that can go to the next.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Mombi, and I live in Dallas, Texas. My question is for the sake of those who are doing business in America or any other diaspora country. I have a Kenyan restaurant in Dallas, and it is so difficult for us to get items that we need to be able to promote Kenya and sell Kenya. And a good example or case in point is Tusker. I have made an effort for the last almost 10 years trying to get direct authorization to be able to get items like Tusker and spices, which now have been allowed, that is okay. But even with the help of the embassy, you still cannot even make a step forward. With all Goa rules and all that, there is no reason why we should not be able to get it directly and have that done by a Kenyan instead of that being given to an American and has a contract for more than 50 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, last question. Introduce yourself and make it short.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, thank you so much for welcoming us to the Hustler Mansion this morning. Once again, my name is Eliud Mwana Kipsang. I'm the person or the chairperson coordinating the East African region, the 4 countries of Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Burundi. Earlier on, the gentleman here asked about the voting, which, Your Excellency, you didn't answer. And I'm so passionate about it because we, the East African region, have been participating in elections since 2013 into 2017, and now we are going into 22. And we are not just here to discuss about money or about anything, but how are we going to contribute to the vote basket come 2022? And that's where my passion is. And in the East African region, we've called ourselves the +1 team. William Ruto here to be president in 2022 needs 50 + 1. And for him to get that 50 + 1, he actually needs a 1 vote from the diaspora. And that's why we are saying, let's put our focus also in the mobilization of votes. And we're extremely happy that the IEBC is trying to extend the voting rights to other parts of the world. And the registration of all voters in the diaspora is starting on the 2nd of December, and it will be ending on the 20th of December 2021. And I'm calling upon all of you, my brothers, who have made it here today, my sisters who have been able to make it here today, and those of us who have not been able to travel with us, let us all turn up and register as voters in the different embassies and different consulates that we are going to be working with. So as UDA East Africa chapter, we are doing a number of things to mobilize votes. And we also have musicians that we've come with a musician who would like to also present you the song that he has been able to compose for you. And it's doing a lot in the East African region, trying to mobilize the votes, trying to make them go and register as voters. Thank you so much.
And Joki has said, what plans do we have about our freedom fighters? You may want to know that this is something that we've thought through. There is a huge development that is going on now at Uhuru Gardens. We hope that that development at Uhuru Gardens will provide a basis for us to have a memorial museum for our independence and all the people who made their contribution. There is a huge museum that is being done as we talk. If you pass by Uhuru Gardens, you will see there is a very big development that is going on there. I remember I traveled to not Botswana, Namibia, and they took me to their Independence Memorial Museum. And when I came here, I had a discussion with President Uhuru Kenyatta, and we had a long discussion, and that's how we ended up with the investment we are making at the Uhuru Gardens. We intend to use that for history, and we also intend to create a place where, if families accept going forward, some of our heads of state and people in that category, if the families so wish, they can be given a place where that also can be a place where we have a site for remembering our leaders, both past, present, and hopefully future. So I am very sure that Harry Thuku will have a place in that museum as we create it. The fact that there is Harry Thuku Road already is recognition enough that he made a contribution to the independence of our nation. The issue, the matter of visa, we have this dual citizen. You are not a dual citizen. You are. So why are you paying visa if you are a dual citizen? Because you should be able to use your Kenyan passport to come back home. Pardon?
When I use the US passport, they say that I cannot come to Kenya because I don't have the visa. So I have to go back to the house and get the Kenyan passport so that I can travel.
So
my question was, why do we have to pay for Kenyan passport if we want to use the American passport? Why do we have to pay for the visa? Because we are American by naturalization, yet we are Kenyans by birth.
I think it's a smaller issue, madam. I think it's a very small issue. I think, if you get to the airport and your passport says you are American, they just treat you as an American. So I think for purposes of getting out of that problem, whenever you are coming home, why are you not proudly using your Kenyan... and I'm not making a big issue out of it. I'm just saying, maybe before we create a proper nexus, I would advise you, whenever you are coming home, please use our Kenyan passport. It's not too bad. Yeah? But anyway, maybe we can have another discussion just to understand if there is a problem beyond what you have, or maybe I have not understood you properly. And then the Mumbi and your big restaurant in America with Tusker. It's really wonderful that you are thinking about a Kenyan drink, Kenyan recipe out there, and that kind of thing. Again, we live in a world that has trade laws, So every country wants to protect their industries. They want to make sure that if it's not being produced in their country, there must be, how things are done. I don't understand fully what the issue is. I know you've said there is only one person licensed to be able to do that. Maybe there needs to be a discussion so that it's not so restricted. If it is already allowed that it can be sold in America, then we just need to make it that much more easy. And I hope with my proposal to have a diaspora ministry, I hope these are some of the things that we can straighten out much more faster. And hopefully, again, maybe we can help Njoki with her passport issue if we find this diaspora ministry to try and sort it out. Yeah? No, I'm saying that passport maneno. And then voting. You know, we all would really like, every Kenyan to vote. It is a right. It's a right that must not be denied in any way. But the capacity of our IEBC is something that we have to work on, you know. Our IEBC, we must accept, has had challenges from the Kivuito days. And to be able to develop the trust that they indeed have the capacity to run a free, fair, democratic, verifiable election is a big challenge. So sometimes, because of the pressure that is there on IEBC locally, they try to respond to the pressure locally and try to manage things locally, and they think, in their opinion, that maybe stretching themselves too far into the diaspora, which they are doing gradually, may undermine their capacity to have a free and fair nomination. I think we just have to be patient, that process is not static. At least the journey to get everybody vote from wherever has started. We started in, as my good gentleman there said, we started in the last election, the last two elections, and every other election, the number of countries that are coming on board to vote are increasing. At least we are making that journey. We will continue to encourage IEBC. Again, we must respect the independence of every institution. It is not something politically we would want to do, but we would want to get IEBC to understand. And I think also it is good for you people in the diaspora to as leaders, that pressure also is appreciated by them so that they can expedite and make it much more faster for more and more people to vote. I was surprised, actually, when some of the American friends who are here were voting in the last Biden-Trump election. And some of my American friends here actually had to post their vote. You know, they had to get the vote earlier, you know. And, you know, that can be very controversial in Kenya, that, you know, that there are people already voting when, you know, so it's quite something we have to really think about. And you saw, even in America, there was a controversy in court as to when did the posted votes arrive? Were they counted? Did they arrive in time? Or there some of them arrived, but it was already beyond the day of voting. So there can be quite a something there, which I am sure IBC are afraid to deal with. They are still trying to build trust that they can handle actually an election. And so I think we just have to, together as Kenyans, continue building on that, on the trust and capacity around IEBC, with focus on making sure that everybody exercises the right to vote. I think it's a huge question that there are Kenyans who cannot, even though they are desirous of voting, they cannot vote. So I think that is something that we will. And I know that the challenge always is that IEBC keeps telling us that we are not giving them enough resources. So maybe to overcome that challenge, and with the diaspora ministry, and with all of us engaging like the way we are doing, we will make the resources available for IEBC to fast track the possibility of every Kenyan voting from wherever they are. Sawa sawa. Thank you very much, good people. Sorry.
When you bring the economy down, I think they'll be very happy. Ama sina mna hiyo? Nyinyi watu wa bottom up. Can we see the hand of bottom up? Bottom up. Bottom up. Nyinyi hasura. Hasura nation. Thank you so much. I think now we go in the other stage. We are going to call the Secretary General, maybe to put the remarks. And maybe shortly, Your Excellency, I don't know whether you are going to give, we have our MPs who have worked very hard for us. You introduce them. We have our MPs hapa, our MPs wetu hapa. Bosi atawa introduce Kimani Ichung'wah, very, wakati nilikuwa Amerika mniambia wapi Ichung'wah? Si yako hapa siku ya leo? Okay, bosi ata introduce na wajibu wengine ambaye tuko nao hapa. Asante sana Secretary General, na Mungu awabariki na tutakaa hapa. Your Excellency, I don't know, tukimaliza kukula kwa sababu tunataka kukaa hapa, tunakuomba utupe ruhusa tuwakishe moto hapa, tulale hapa. Si ndio? Si mungetaka namna hiyo? Tulale hapa, murudi na historia, tumelala hapa kwa defi, lakini pahali ya kulala nasemaga ni padogo sana Lakini tunashukuru sana. Thank you so much. Diaspora, God bless you. God be with you. Thank you, Secretary General.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Eliud Owalo. I'm the Deputy Secretary General for the UDA party, responsible for policy and strategy. This morning, I'm holding brief for our very able Secretary General, Madam Veronica Maina. She's not able to be here with us. She's out of the country on some official engagements, and the flight, there was some change in the flight schedules, so she's not able to be with us this morning. But she did ask me to pass her gratitude to you for the work that you have been doing in the areas of membership, in the areas of enhancing the visibility of the party in the diaspora. From where we sit as a secretariat, we will remain ready and available to provide you with all the technical and logistical support that you may require to enable us, one, enhance the visibility of the party within the diaspora, two, advocate for our policy positions among various stakeholder segments within the diaspora, and also ensure that there is proper integration between our policy platforms and the integral stakeholder segments within the diaspora. We will also, depending on unfolding events from time to time, be able to provide you with all the technical information that you may require as you strive to augment our efforts towards ensuring that our presidential candidate wins the forthcoming presidential elections in August 2022. On behalf of the party secretariat, once more, I must say that we owe you a great debt of gratitude for the support that you have been giving the party and the presidential candidate. May I now have the honor to invite our able chairman, Senator Johnston Mudama, to come and have a word with you before inviting the Excellency.
A very big good morning. Good morning to everybody. God is good, and all the time. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, leaders who represent different constituencies in this country of ours, party leadership, and our great sons and daughters here who have been blessed by God to have an opportunity to go outside this country and demonstrate what Kenyans can be and what Kenyans can do. Your Excellency, I want to take this opportunity to say one or two things. As the chairman of UDA, we have come together as Kenyans to form a party that will eliminate the divisions based on tribalistic that has been created by different political parties in this country, where you go and find that the party leader comes from that community and the Secretary General comes from that community and the treasurer comes from that community, and it stretches up to a point where people stage negotiations not based on what Kenyans can gain at the end of the day, but what certain individuals and their communities they can gain at the end of the day. And questions have been raised in those discussions. And I'm saying this with the experience I have. I was in KANU. I have a live membership of KANU. I was in LDP. I was in ODM Kenya. I was in WIPA. I was in SDP with live memberships. I want to tell you, when you sit in that negotiating table under those kind of arrangements, the first question that comes is, which community do you come from? How many faults did you find in your community? That has